It's been 9 months since I started developing my game, Harvey's 9 Lives. In today's video, I'll take you through an overview of the game, how it started, where it stands now, and what it's all about. By the end, I hope you have a clear understanding of the journey and its vision. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Harvey's 9 Lives is a side-scrolling platformer, and your goal is to complete each level in the best possible time using the resources and mechanics available to you. I started working in this game off a repo of an old game I was working on, which was a game where you played as a cube that got from A to B. One of my main focuses this year was to make sure that I could start and work on a game where I could make a decent amount of progress whilst managing my full-time job. And a side-scrolling platformer seemed like a really good idea. And also, I've always naturally wanted to make one. The first thing I looked to address was the mechanics, and I started with the very basic mechanics that you'd find in a side-scrolling platformer, your typical run and jump, and like your typical traps like spikes, etc. Although I had personally had some fun playing it and watching some of the reactions from my colleagues and friends playing it, it felt like it was lacking some flavor, and that's where I came and introduced power-ups, matching the theme of the game. So Harvey is a feline archaeologist who loves shiny things. Now, and in each and every single one of these levels, he's going to be aiming to get to the other side to collect some treasure. Now, I don't want to go too deep into the lore because I don't want to spoil it right now. But the treasures that he's going to be collecting have an effect in terms of on the power-ups that Harvey gains. Now, at the moment, I have these cards in place, but I'm going to be completely changing the style. So I'm going to be going for more talismans instead of cards, but that's a bit more into the future. But going back to the point, how you use these talismans, which you collect from different sections, by the way, of the game, is you use them to enhance your playstyle. So, for example, you have one here, which is like a walk on air talisman, and what that allows you to do is essentially just walk on air. Now this, you can use this obviously not only to help you get a faster complete time, but also if you're somebody who's not looking to have a arduous or frustrating playthrough, this can be a way for you to do that, because this is sort of kind of one of the things that I want to make sure I do in this game, is to make sure that people like me who love platformers but are not really good at them can also have an option to play and have fun with it whilst without stealing the joy for people that, you know, like to sweat. Now, to summarize that point, because I feel like I went everywhere, talismans will be one of the ways you'll be able to enhance your gameplay and essentially access power-ups for either a faster complete time, a smoother gameplay, or a bit of both. That will always be completely up to you. So that is one of the mechanics that will be essentially the core mechanic for the game. There is another mechanic as well that I'm not going to talk about this game. I'm going to do an entire separate video for it, because one, I'm still implementing it, and two, yeah, I do think it deserves its own video. So I want to talk about the environment. So right now I've made four is a bit generous. I'd say 4.5, 3.5, and each environment is gonna be unique in its own way. Now, one of the key things about the mechanic and how it works with environments is you'll be unlocking and discovering a talisman in each environment, and obviously the talismans are the power-ups. So the power-ups will be able to allow you to access a particular environment in a unique way. Don't get me wrong, you will be able to carry on those talismans to the next environment, but as I introduce them in a particular environment, that whatever that talisman does, it will be one of the mechanics that are a focus for that environment. I hope that made sense. But yeah, so far I've made, like I said, 3.5. I've made a sandy one you're seeing here, which is an Egyptian theme style environment. I've also made a grassy one, which you're seeing now. By the way, I don't have any names for these yet. And I've made a temple one, which you're seeing now. And I'm currently working on a winter slash Japanese inspired version, which you're looking at now. So this is all obviously still a work in progress, but as part of the overview, I just wanted to give you an idea of what the environments are going to look like and what sort of kind of purpose they're going to feed into the game. Now, I know I briefly mentioned bits of the lore in previous sections, but I'm just going to do a quick overview in this section. So, Harvey's a feline archaeologist with a thirst for knowledge and adventure. And on this new adventure that Harvey will be embarking on, he'll be doing research on these particular talismans. And as he does his research on this adventure, he does run into some conflict. I'm not going to spoil too much what that conflict is about. I feel like that part of the lore you will discover as you play the game. Yeah, so I'll just leave that for now. The focus will be mainly on the gameplay and the game mechanics. So the lore is not going to be the main focus of the game. It's not that I don't like making games that are based off lore, but as this is one of my first commercial games, I wanted to focus on what I think is the most important thing when it comes to games, which is how fun they are and not necessarily the stories that they tell. Although some of my favorite games are games that tell really good stories. So, what am I trying to achieve with Harvey's 9 Lives? Well, simply, this is my first commercial game, and what I wanted to do is go on a journey where I learn everything there is to do in terms of making a commercial game. And the best way to learn is by doing it. I have made lots of smaller games before, and so this isn't necessarily my first game. What this is an opportunity for me to learn everything that encompasses being a full-time game dev. Currently, I'm developing this game part-time, but naturally, I'll aspire to become a full-time solo dev. And this is my first attempt at that. Now, I'm not naive. I know it usually takes more than your first game to do that, but also I'm not a big company. So what that means is my overhead is very, very small. As long as I can pay my rent, I can do this successfully. One of the other reasons I am making this game is because it will be a full circle moment for myself. One of the initial reasons why I started learning pixel art, programming, game development wasn't just purely because I love games. That is one of the reasons, but it was because it was a big technical challenge for me, a mountain, something that I thought was impossible. So to be able to do this would be a really great full circle moment where I just overcame what I would say, I don't want to say fears, but overcame something that was a mountainous challenge in my mind. And on top of that as well, I'll be doing that by creating a game which I absolutely know that the younger version of me would have loved. I would have loved to open up this game on Christmas and just like smash it out. And Harvey's 9 Lives is literally everything I love about side-scrolling platformers, which is kind of selfish. Basically making a game for myself and like, hey, everybody, can you like also buy this game that I really like? But yeah, no, honestly, it will be a full circle moment for myself. This big challenge that I took on, learning how to make pixel art, program, make games, etc. But also making this game that the younger version of me would have loved. There is something in all of us, whether you're a musician, artist, filmmaker, whatever it is. Well, there is this thing about like you have this dream of something that you wanted to create, and you want to express like your ideas, and being able to do that takes a lot of work. Learning what that craft is, whatever it is, singing, music, video games, whatever it is, it takes a long time to make that craft, but it is very much gratifying and a strong feeling of fulfillment when you get to actually do that. And yeah, I'm excited to continue developing Harvey's 9 Lives and getting to the other end of that. But yeah, to wrap up, because I know I'm waffling, my main goals and objectives are to transition into a full-time indie game dev whilst learning everything there is to becoming a 360 solo dev, is to have a full circle moment by conquering limiting beliefs that I had before I jumped into game dev. And probably the most important one is making this game that I know that the younger version of me would have loved to play, which is kind of already what it feels like. But yeah, it's just making sure that I do finish that game, so that, well, you know, hopefully somewhere out there is the younger version of me is playing it and it's going like, oh wow, this is a really sick side-scrolling platformer. If you want to join me on my journey of developing my indie game, please feel free to like and subscribe to my channel, and that way you can stay up to date to whenever new videos drop and when the update of the game is happening. And yeah, I would love for you to leave a comment and let me know what you think about the game I'm making, and also would love to know a bit about yourself and what type of side-scrolling platformers that you enjoy to play, or any games that you enjoy to play. But yeah, don't be a stranger. So like, subscribe, feel free to comment, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.